You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, it's that time of the year again. You've already got pundits out there that are putting together their draft shows. That's right. ESPN, of course, no different. They have a show, and it's a show I actually like. It's called ESPN First Draft. It's Mike Greenberg. It's on YouTube and podcast only. But they're having one of their first mock drafts. Yeah, already. We don't know. We ain't got all the guys that's declared yet. All right? But they're already having their mock drafts, and they did, I believe it was the first 18 picks. I had this on in the background yesterday evening, late. And then all of a sudden we got to the Browns, and I was like, whoa! Mel Kiper Jr. crashed right the fuck out. There, I dropped the F-bomb right out over Shedeur Sanders and whether or not he should be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Now, I've tried to be real fair to Shadour. I have. There's been halves of football this year where he's looked good. But no doubt about it, there's still major deficiencies there. Most notably, that accuracy's got to come way up. And it was really the one thing I was hoping by the end of the year you would see something start showing up in the... I was really hoping he would finish at like 62%. He didn't. He's like 57 or 56, something like that. Not nearly high enough. Now, I will say this. Out of the four main quarterbacks, I liked what I saw out of Shadour more than Cam Ward, if I'm being honest. If I'm being real, and I've said I think Shadour's, I think his ceiling, and I mean absolute ceiling, is, and I got thinking about this a little more, a poor man's Kirk Cousins or poor man's Dak Prescott. What made me think Dak Prescott was, well, you know, Mike McCarthy might actually be able to elevate Shedeur Sanders. Now, there's a lot of factors going into it. Look, there's no weapon. Look, no weapons on this team. And Njoku got hurt. They need offensive line help bad. They need wide receiver help bad. But Andrew Berry, I just made a video yesterday evening. Andrew Berry's very non-committal on Shadour for the 2026 season, and he shouldn't be. They should bring in a veteran, whoever that's going to be. Oddly enough, Joe Flacco would have been perfect, but they're not going to do that, I wouldn't think, for a third time. In fact, I figure wherever Kevin Stefanski goes, Joe Flacco's probably going to end up being the backup quarterback there. Because Flacco's already said he wants to come back and play next year too. And he looked damn good with the Bengals, which is another indictment of the Browns and the lack of, perfect example of lack of weapons. I mean, Flacco leaves here and goes to a place with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and immediately starts balling out. Like 2023 when he took the Browns to the playoffs. But you actually had Amari Cooper left on that team, yada, yada, yada. So, that leads us to Mel Kiper Jr. Famously, of course, Mel is a ride or die. He had some epic crash outs on behalf of Shedeur Sanders last year during the draft, around the draft, before the draft, after the draft. Mel Kiper was crashing out everywhere to the point that many people literally was like, does Deion Sanders have him on the prime payroll? I mean, a lot of people were asking, are you getting paid for these takes that you're just losing your mind over? All right? All these NFL teams, including the Browns, repeatedly passed on this kid. Do I think he deserves to compete? In other words, get real reps in training camp, that sort of thing, maybe with a, again, like a Jameis Winston or something like that. Sure. But they're also probably going to draft a quarterback somewhere. Whether it's the 4th or 5th round, some people are bringing up Ty Simpson. No, I wouldn't do it. I love Ty Simpson. I wouldn't do it. He hadn't played in enough games. started in enough games, and I can't believe he's coming out. But his family's claiming that all 32 general managers in the National Football League gave him a first-round grade. Talking about Ty Simpson. Okay. And again, he was my favorite quarterback at one point this college season, but the back half of his season was not great. Mel Kiper Jr. crashing out.
In the draft, the Browns need to keep providing weapons for whoever is their quarterback.
Yeah, real quick, you said it, Felix. Somebody can catch the football on a regular basis, and that's what Tate does. That's what Shadour Sanders needs. Yeah, they would have been 21-12 had Sal Cannella caught a beautiful throw for a touchdown, which dropped, and then they had to come back, and Shadour leads them down for the field goal to win it, and get them to win the final 2 games of the year, and ends up his rookie season in 3-4 as a starter. So for Shadour to have guys who are dependable, like a Carnell Tate, you have Njoku, who didn't play, by the way, yesterday. Neither did Fannin. Judkins hurt. Offensive line obviously outmanned in a lot of games. So now you start fortifying that talent around your, I think, future standout quarterback in Shadour Sanders.
Yeah, and it's fascinating when you consider the different possibilities of what they'll wind up doing. But if Shadour Sanders is going to be their quarterback going forward, I guess is what I was trying to say.
It's got to be Greeny. I mean, what the hell is it got to do? I mean, is it going to get into this negativity again about Shadour? I mean, I don't know what else the kid needs to do. I mean, Josh Allen had haters in year 3. So if Josh Allen has haters in year 2 and 3 of his career, there's no way Shadour can avoid it. But I've watched every play, every snap of Shadour Sanders, and he should be proud of what he had to go through and survive and to come out winning that game yesterday, driving them down to get into field goal range inside of 50 yards to make that field goal and win it. After, like I said, it could have been 21-12 had Cannella caught the football. Drops hurt that team all year. To be able to show more mobility than anybody thought. The accuracy's there. Everything about Shadour Sanders screams he's the quarterback. But if people are going to negative in April, they're going to be negative now because they're going to like, where is he ranked? Forget that. Look at the interceptions that were off of Jerry Jeudy, off of Judkins' shoulder. Batted balls like Burrow had one yesterday, batted in a pick 6. You blaming Burrow for that? No. You're blaming Shadour for a couple batted balls that were picked off? You shouldn't, okay? So you're going to be fair here. So really, when you look at what Shadour did this year, not having any training camp, never with the ones, defense, offense, be thrown out there, playing in brutal weather conditions, not in domes.
That's not changing. That's not changing, though.
In great weather, in brutal weather conditions. If you're going to sit there and tell me you weren't impressed with the rookie year of Shadour Sanders, I would say you weren't watching the same game I was.
Okay, I think we can land here, and this will be the end for me, and I'll stop down after this. 2 things can be true at once. There are some good from Shadour Sanders, and there are still some real question marks. You highlighted some of the good. Some of the question marks remain are the interceptions. Not all of them are just mistakes, or are just sort of unexpected, goofy interceptions. Some of them were just bad interceptions, and the sacks. He's got to take fewer sacks. That ball has got to get out of his hand faster. And that's the evaluation that Cleveland's going to have to make about whether they draft another quarterback, potentially trade or sign one this offseason. So there's a discussion Cleveland will have going forward.
I'd say this, rookies learn from mistakes. So yeah, you did have some interceptions wrong. Everybody, veterans do. Certainly rookies who never throw to those receivers till they're forced into games late will certainly have some issues with a throw here and there. But to see the steady improvement, and they go 3-4, could have very easily been 4-3 as a starting quarterback. Very easily been 4-3. It's pretty doggone good for a team that had like I say, an offensive line that was out. They were their 3rd center in that game yesterday. They were their 3rd center. So, I mean, let's face it. When he needed to come through in a bad first half, a really good second half, like I said, they win the football game. So at the end of the day, Shuck's 5-5 in the games he started. Great job at New Orleans. Playing in that dome, and we can't even get back to the Raiders. When you're playing in a dome, it's a massive advantage. So for Fernando Mendoza to go to the Raiders, huge. Those NFC South quarterbacks, domes and great weather, massive advantage. So for Shadour and the AFC North, cold weather, wind, rain, sleet, snow, he dealt with all that except for the one game against the Raiders, which was his first start. Other quarterbacks did not. So when you factor in the weather conditions on the heels of everything else I said, you can see why I'm still a huge Shadour Sanders fan.
I mean, like I said earlier, are we sure Mel's not on the prime payroll? Wow. I think you got to take a step back and go, okay, yeah, I can see letting him compete. Am I going to flat name him the starter, the standout rookie starter? I mean, Mel's like, it's a wrap. He's the starter of this team. And I'm like, no, you can't. You can't irresponsibly make that call. All right? Or you want to know what could end up happening? You're going to end up hiring a coach and then firing him after 1 year. Not only that, but, Shedeur's got to go against another coach coming in the building. In other words, coach going to come in the building. He's going to want a certain quarterback, certain style of quarterback, all this. All right. Do I think certain coaches, look, with more reps, yada, yada, yada. If I was to grade this rookie season, I would give Shadour a 5 out of 10. He flashed at times, and then there was times he looked like a total train wreck. All right? But that's rookie. I get it. That's rookie ball. But to even bring up Tyler Shough, that's ridiculous. I'm pretty sure Tyler Shough, by the way, I think he said he went 5-5 or something. Shough was like 5-4, I think. Actually had a winning record for the Saints. By the way, that arguably, because Alvin Kamara didn't play, yada, 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 I think he had less weapons and less to work with than Shedeur. Now, I know they drafted Kelvin Banks, and he looks like a real guy. Yeah, see, that wasn't even accurate. Tyler Shough was 5-4 with a 67% completion percentage and 2,384 yards. Boy, he came on. Not only did he come on, he passed Jackson Dart right on by. There is something to these guys. This goes back to Ty Simpson. Something to these guys having a ton of attempts, a ton of being around. I mean, he was in college 7 years, right? Yeah, Dillon Gabriel was there a long time, but he didn't have Tyler's physical tools. Tyler's got a cannon. He's athletic. He can run. He's a big dude. I mean, it's crazy. Mel Kiper still here crashing out. It's January the 8th of 2026. He has anointed. Bill Parcells. Mel Kiper has in fact pulled out the anointing oils for Shedeur Sanders as the starting son of a bitch, the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. There is not a chance in hell they do not bring in another rookie. I think Dillon Gabriel gets cut. They don't bring in another rookie, and they sign a veteran. Who that's going to be, I don't know. But I figured Shadour and a veteran will compete for the starting job. They're not just going to hand it to him. He wasn't good enough to hand him the job. His fans about to be mad as hell if they think that's what's happening here. It's not going to happen. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.